Welcome to our deep dive. We've got 19 books we're going to be talking about today, all about, kind of like entrepreneurship, freelancing, leading a team. Um, and we're not going to do a book report on each one of these things. It'll be more like just the most impactful takeaways for each one. So if you only end up reading one of these books because of what we're talking about today, then that's a win.
Yeah, and it's really about kind of what resonated with us, and hopefully that can give you some good stuff to apply to your life and business.
All right, so let's get started. First one, Getting Things Done by David Allen.
Mm.
It's a classic, and for good reason. Any entrepreneur knows there's a lot of chaos, a lot of stuff going on all the time, and so this book is all about having a system to deal with it.
Yeah, and the cool thing about getting things done is it's not just about tasks, it's about capturing ideas, opportunities, which as an entrepreneur are gold. I mean, think about it. How many times have you had like a great idea pop into your head at the worst possible time and then it's gone because you had no way to capture it?
All the time. Yeah, having a system for that is great. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit here, we've got Paul Miller, good work,
Yeah.
and then his earlier book, The Pathless Path. Both kind of talk about finding work that lights you up
Yeah.
and maybe doesn't fit that traditional mold.
Yeah, and Miller's own story, he left, high-paying consulting career to go into writing, which is, something a lot of entrepreneurs can relate to. So it's good stuff. Risks and rewards.
Yeah. Makes you think about if your work is fulfilling, right? Okay, let's talk about a productivity tool. You might not think about it, but rest. Alex Pang wrote a book called Rest, and it kind of challenges this whole always on culture. The basic premise is that downtime is actually super important to be creative and productive.
Yeah, and the science on this is fascinating. Like when we rest, our brains go into what's called the default mode network, and that's where we connect ideas and generate new ones. And it's not laziness, it's strategic recharging.
It is. Makes you think about when's the last time you truly unplugged. Along those same lines, Cal Newport, Slow Productivity. This one's all about working smarter, not harder. Especially relevant for entrepreneurs who tend to burn themselves out sometimes.
Totally. Yeah, and his three rules are great. Focus on what matters, do fewer things, slow down. And it's all about, building a sustainable business for the long haul, quality over quantity.
So if you're struggling with burnout, this could be the book for you. And by the way, if you're enjoying this deep dive, hit that like button and share this with your network. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about building a business. Michael Masterson's Ready, Fire, Aim. It's all about hitting these revenue milestones, from starting out to scaling to $1 million and beyond.
It's cool how he breaks down the unique challenges you face at these different stages of growth. So whether you're just starting out or you're already scaling up, there's good takeaways here.
Speaking of scaling, Gino Lickman, Traction. This is, if you're building a team, this is a must read. It's all about getting everyone on the same page, clear vision, clear processes, which can be a pain point for sure when you're growing.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, think about it. How much more could your team achieve if everybody was like totally aligned, working together seamlessly? That's what traction is all about. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced in terms of team alignment? I'm curious to hear. Put it down in the comments.
Yeah.
Love to hear it.
Okay, so next up, we've got a book that teaches business principles in a kind of a unique way. The Goal by Eliyahu Goldratt. It's a fable, like a story, but it teaches you about, managing constraints, optimizing processes,
Yeah.
and it's pretty engaging.
Yeah. It's cool how like storytelling can make those kind of complex concepts easier to grasp. It makes you think about like what's the bottleneck in your business? Like what's that one thing holding you back? Yeah, good question for everybody listening. And okay, so while we're on the topic of bottlenecks, how about those productivity black holes we all know and kind of dread? Meetings. Patrick Lencioni wrote Death by Meeting, and it's kind of a humorous take, but it's also practical, and he gives you this framework for turning those, soul-crushing meetings into ones that are actually productive and, dare I say, enjoyable.
It's crazy how much time gets wasted in meetings, right? He's got like a clear structure for different types of meetings, each with their own purpose, agenda. Imagine having meetings that actually move the needle.
Right. Speaking of moving the needle, Million Dollar Weekend by Noah Kagan. This book is all about action, just launch it. Overcoming that analysis paralysis and getting your business idea out into the world.
Yeah, perfection is the enemy of progress, right? Sometimes you just got to jump in and get started. Don't be afraid to share your ideas. You never know who might be able to help you out.
Totally. Okay, so for anyone who wants to learn from, one of the most iconic figures in business. The biography of Steve Jobs is a fascinating look into this visionary leader. And it's not just about success, it's about both the brilliance and the flaws, which I think we can all learn from.
Yeah, it's amazing how, like, his obsession with product design, user experience, like, it revolutionized industries. It's like even the smallest details can make a huge difference.
For sure. Okay, so let's talk about something that's especially important for entrepreneurs who are always pushing themselves to the limit: health and longevity. Peter Attia wrote Outlive, and it goes deep into the science and art of living longer and healthier. It's not about like quick fixes, it's about preventing those chronic diseases and just being well as we age.
Yeah, we put so much into our businesses that it's easy to neglect our health. So Outlive is like a framework for making those changes that are sustainable, both for our personal and professional goals.
Right, it's like taking care of ourselves is an investment, not a luxury. And speaking of investment, let's invest in each other. Hit that like button, share this with your network.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's talk about a book that offers like a path to inner peace and fulfillment, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And this is all about connecting with the present moment,
Yeah.
freeing yourself from the anxieties of the past and the future.
Yeah, in today's world, it's so easy to get caught up in all that noise, the worries. The power of now just reminds us to slow down, breathe, be present.
Yeah, it can be incredibly grounding,
Hmm.
especially for entrepreneurs who are, constantly juggling things, dealing with uncertainty. Has anybody found like mindfulness practices helpful? Share your experiences in the comments.
Love to hear it. So, shifting gears here, let's talk about Anxiety, The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. And he offers this interesting perspective on the rise of anxiety and depression, especially among young people. And he argues that social media plays a big role.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about, especially for those of us who are raising kids, working with younger teams. Understanding the pressures they face is huge.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so this one's a little different. Spiritual Enlightenment, The Damnedest Thing by Jed McKenna. Now, his writing style is a little out there, a little irreverent, but if you're open to, questioning conventional spiritual thinking, it can be pretty insightful.
Yeah. This isn't your typical self-help book. It's more like a journey of self-discovery, like
Yeah.
stripping away illusions and confronting the, deepest truths about yourself.
It's not for everybody, that's for sure, but it can be powerful. Okay, so The Comfort Crisis by Michael Easter. And this one kind of challenges us to step outside of our comfort zones. His argument is that, our modern lives have become too comfortable, and that's actually hurting our well-being.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting concept, right? He suggests that embracing discomfort, whether it's physical challenges, new environments, facing fears, that it can lead to greater resilience, personal growth.
Yeah, sometimes the best growth happens outside our comfort zone, which brings us to a genre that can provide a much-needed escape from all of that: fiction.
Yes. Sometimes the best way to recharge, gain some new perspectives, is to just get lost in a good story, right? You never know. You might pick up some insights along the way.
Okay, so if you like mysteries with a twist, check out the Detective Galileo series by Kaigo Higashino. Think murder mysteries with physics and math. It's pretty cool.
And for epic fantasy, Brandon Sanderson is a master. Like, his worlds, characters, magic systems are just mind-blowing. If you need an escape, definitely check him out.
Okay, so before we wrap up, I want to say, you don't have to read all 19 of these books to get something out of this. Even if you pick just one book, right, and you apply like one idea, you're going to be better off.
Or it's kind of like a buffet, right? Take what you like.
Exactly.
And keep learning. It's a journey, not a destination. Every book, every conversation, it all adds up.
It does. And we've got a lot more deep dives coming up, covering all kinds of interesting topics. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any of them.
Absolutely. So before we go, let's leave everybody with a little challenge. Think about one book from today that really resonated with you. Okay. Now, what's one action you can take based on that book? Could be adding it to your reading list. Could be sharing it with your team. Could be actually trying out one of the strategies.
Yeah, love it. Share your commitment in the comments. Let's hold each other accountable.
Love that. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Remember, even small steps can lead to big results. So keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing those boundaries.
See you in the next one.